Hi, this is Richard Shockely from Richard Shockley's Virtual Bowling Academy, and here's our tip of the week. This week's tip is about the setup. You know, back in the old days when I was learning how to play golf, I failed to understand a proper setup. You know, all I did was put the golf ball down and didn't really look and get the line down the fairway, and I just walk up beside it and try to whack it. And that was really all I did, until I learned that we really have to have a setup and a targeting system. And if you watch some of the greatest golfers, they look, they put their feet in the right position, they set up, and then they take a look, be sure everything's in line. You know what? That's the same thing in our sport, is to get the proper setup. So what I want to do is show you some things about that. You know, in my days at Kegel, I was very, very, very fortunate to work with some of the greatest bowlers in the world, and I actually learned from these bowlers about a proper setup. I was so very fortunate in Sebring, Florida, at the original Kegel Training Center, to have a camera that was actually able to swing down over the fourth arrow, about 5 feet high. And what that did is it gave me a perfect, beautiful front view for a setup. I also was very lucky to have a side view camera that I could have about 10 feet to the right. That would give me a beautiful side lateral view from the back of the approach to the foul line. So I had everything covered. All of the pro bowlers and bowlers from all around the world, I've got over 500 hours of video to see this. Now I know all of you have a computer. Go to YouTube and let me give you some names of some of the greatest bowlers who I'm fortunate enough to have come to Kegel on these videos. If you want to get a piece of paper and a pencil, go for it. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to give you a second to go for that. Here we are. Let's write down some pretty good bowlers. David Ozio. Brian Voss. Not too bad there. A guy named Richard Wolff. One of the best left-hander styles ever. Didn't win very much, but boy, did he have a great setup and a great swing. Parker Bone. Walter Ray. Chris Barnes and his wife Linda. The great Norm Duke. Tommy Jones. What a star he was when he came out on tour. My buddy Jason Couch, who I was able to coach for 2 or 3 years in Sebring, Florida. The great Carolyn Doran Ballard. And this one's not too bad. Tournament of Champions winner, Kelly Kulick. So let's go through what I've seen on a great setup for these pros. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about the setup. Here again, we're going to look at YouTube. I really think you should do this to see all of these great players that I was talking about. Okay, right-handed bowler, right foot's going to be slightly back, maybe the right toe in the middle of the left. This is not law, but a lot of the players that I've seen are in this position. This right foot's going to be slightly open or turned to the right. You know, I've had a lot of students that have come to me in the last 5 or 6 years and have had this looking position. They take the right foot and they pull it way open and way back. And in my opinion, what that does, and from looking at YouTube, I don't see this in the pros. I see this. What happens with our hips when we go here? It's going to have your hips dead open to the right. Okay, that's the lower body. Now, a lot of times with our teachings, we talk about an athletic pose, which is fine. We get our knees relaxed, okay? Knees over your toes. A little bit of tilt from the spine, okay? So you're in a really athletic position. A lot of sports are like this, okay? Golf's like this, basketball, skiing, athletic pose. Okay, right foot back, slightly open, knees flexed, forward. Now here's what I've seen with all of these great bowlers, and this is the most important part. This is where we go. Where should you put the ball in relation to you to here? Before we go there, obviously bowlers will want to go here to here to here, whatever their style is. You know, the great Earl Anthony was more up here. Go to YouTube and watch Earl Anthony, maybe the greatest ever. Okay? Marshall Holman was low, medium, high. Now this will obviously change your ball speed, up or down. Now that's a variation for you to work on. Okay? Here's the big deal that I've seen so much from the professional bowlers and worldwide great bowlers. Here, we want to take the body and tilt it slightly to the left. You see my hip's going to tilt left. Well, what does that do? It puts my right eye slightly forward. Okay? So what does that do? It puts our shoulder in a nice direction forward and straight. You ever shoot a rifle, bow and arrow? You're going to be here. Well, if you're here, it's not going to be too good if the ball's in this position. All right? So now, we've got the ball in this position, and in my opinion, a lot of the great players are going to place that ball weight in the opposite hand. You see the great Norm Duke, he's always got that ball moving a little bit, left hand, right, Brian Voss, and they place it into the swing. Okay? Watch where these elbows are. YouTube, look at them. Okay? Elbows are close, particularly this one. Mika might be a little bit back, but most of the great players, Ozio, Voss, Parker, are going to be right by the side. Okay? The right eye's tilted forward. I see this a lot of times. Sometimes bowlers tilt a little bit too much. Okay? They really tilt a lot, and it just doesn't look comfortable to me. Based on what I see on YouTube from the greatest bowlers, this is the position. Now, this is what I've seen from the greatest players. It really gets you in a nice position. Now, there's one other thing that I want to show you from the side view. Okay, we've talked about the front view, everything that we need to see. Now let's go into the side view. Where should this be from the elbow out and back? Okay, if we look at the top players, you're going to see this relationship again. This is most common from every great bowler that I've ever videoed, right here. What is it that I usually never see? This. I rarely have seen this from that list of professional bowlers. Okay? Elbow in close, like Norm and Voss and David Ozio again. They're right in here on the hips in this athletic pose. Now, some guys like to stand a little taller. I didn't talk about that earlier. I mean, you might have some guys that are a little more upright, maybe like Chris Barnes or Walter Ray might be a little higher. But that relationship here is critical to keep that elbow in close. I'll tell you what, if you look at Norm Duke's new CD, okay, DVD, it is absolutely fantastic. I can't tell you how much information Norm has put on there. And he also is talking about these positions, okay? Not in here, all right? This is fantastic. I recommend go get Norm's information. That is a brilliant piece of work, and I think you'll enjoy it. Okay? I think this will cover the setup today, how you want to look. Get this in the right motion, the right position. Your game will go to another level. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this week's tip. For a personalized lesson, you can send your videos to me at Richard Shockley's VirtualBowlingAcademy.com to help you take your game to another level.